Hey, Focus fam, it's Focus Chan. Happy Wednesday, guys. Hope we're having a good start to the week here. Definitely a fun, interesting market, and I'm excited to talk about it. So let's dive right in here, guys. And as always, hopefully finish the week strong. But let's dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is truly just a very basic two indicators that have worked very well this year. And in my opinion, really keep the market, as simple as it needs to be. No need to overcomplicate such a, complex thing already. If we look this year, guys, ever since the beginning of the year, the market has stopped in two simple places. The first is the 50-day simple moving average, this purple line. And if it doesn't hold there, it goes to one of my favorite indicators, the Ichimoku Cloud. So if you take a look, guys, this year, it truly has been, obviously a very bullish year, but these are the two indicators that really keep you, very well informed of what's going on. You can take a look beginning in January, we kind of hold the 50, we slip it, get that cloud, then explode. We come back to the 50, we pop, we slip it, but we hold the cloud. We pop again nicely, we pull back, same spot, beautiful pop. This time we just hold the 50. This time we just hold the 50. This time we slip the 50 and hit the cloud. Last three times, guys, we've kissed that 50 nicely and erupted, right? Kiss that 50 nicely and erupted. Well, this week, we had a lot of market events in play, and we still do. One of them being SPX roll, the option expire. This was a great reason, guys, for the market to tread lower, which we've seen happen ever since the roll started here last week. Bleed, bleed, bleed. Very healthy, though, and very controlled. And as you might imagine, to continue this conversation, we are right at the 50, one of those main points that we've been dealing with all year. So very excited to see what the market has to offer the rest of the week. One big thing I do want to note, guys, is we have a lot happening this week. We have the option expire, which is SPX roll ending. We have quad witching, and we also have rebalancing, a lot of big market moving events. So I would expect some action. But one thing to just keep in mind is with quad witching, we can see some chop. So just make sure you're being patient and timing it. But overall here, market's at a beautiful level. And again, guys, want to keep it very simple. If we continue to hold the 50, which we bottomed off nicely today, we're going to continue to rally higher. It's been the theme all year and is going to work until it doesn't. If for some reason we start to fail and can't really get, back above these basic little levels, then we're going to take a trip right back down to the 50. And if we don't hold, then we got a shot down towards that daily cloud here, which also puts you right back to pretty much where we were last time, right? Same little support levels. So I really love where the market is right now. And again, I just think it's very straightforward, where if we hold the 50, just like today, I'm going to be looking for that dip buy every time. Once it breaks the 50, I'll be looking for that short down to the cloud. And once it gets to the cloud, I'll be looking to buy the dip. If it breaks the cloud, then for this time, we might have the first bearish trend of the entire year. But every time it gets here, guys, it's an amazing dip buy. So it's one of those things where I'm going to keep buying the dip. And the day that it doesn't work is going to lead to our first true bear trend. But right now, this looks like a really good dip buy for the time being. So again, guys, we're going to dive a little deeper here. But if it holds the 50, the show must go on. If it starts to break that 50-day simple, the cloud comes next. So if we hop in here, guys, just to get rid of that, look a little bit deeper of what we can expect. Get rid of that. Boom, boom, boom. So anytime we hit the 50, we always want to focus, guys, on that reversion to the mean. This week we've kind of just been pinning that mean where any good push underneath is not quite bullish yet until we start to recover the 21 EMA here. So you can see we kind of popped to it, 2 days ago and failed. We opened at it, yesterday and failed. And then we open at the 50 today and pop back to the mean, just playing ping pong in between these key levels. So again, guys, another simple compass here. If we can reclaim the mean, so again, just kind of, start to get above, call it 4480-ish, then we can start to work our way back up towards 4,500, the next little level of resistance ahead. So just to hop in here, guys, to show you a few, key levels on my chart, a little more than that. Again, here's what I'll be watching. We get that 50 below, and we got that daily mean above. If we can just continue to hold and get through that 44.80, that's when I think we're starting to head up towards 4,500, 45.13. And if we take a look as a point of control, it's remained above this entire drop. And usually whenever that happens, we do start to work our way back towards it. So very curious to see what the market has to offer the rest of the week, but taking, the 50-day simple, you can even use, other tools like an hourly cloud reversal. We're starting the process here. So again, as long as it can just reclaim that mean, hold that 50, we should start to work our way towards 4,500, and then we'll see where we go from there. To continue this conversation, guys, always want to watch all three indexes as they all give you different information. Recently, technology has been the strongest index, and we want to continue to watch the leader. They've been consolidating at all-time high, right? ES consolidate all-time high, YM, et cetera, et cetera. On this recent pullback here, that's brought NQ, the strongest index, to the 21 EMA, to that white line, a daily mean. While it pulled back, ES, as we've covered, went to the 50-day simple because YM, which I've been warning about for a while, has been the weakest index where it couldn't break all-time high. And it got to the 50 before anybody. And I kept saying, if this thing breaks the 50 and heads back down to those levels from our prior sell-off, that's going to equate to ES reaching its 50, et cetera, et cetera. So you guys can see the kind of discrepancy here of each index where tech is the strongest. So its pullback went to the mean. ES is neutral because it kind of moves with everything. So it got the pullback to the 50. YM is the weakest. It went to the 50 before everybody, and then it broke the 50 and dragged everybody down. So the reason I bring this up, guys, is every index is at their most critical level right now. Again, ES is at the 50, NQ is at the daily mean, and YM is right around that last sell-off level, which it needed to hold today, and it did. So long story short, guys, to wrap up here, for bullish scenarios, we need to see YM continue to hold this zone and continue to get back to that 50 and back to that daily mean, and then start to carve through it. Holding this is step one, getting through here is step two. For NQ, very basic. We want to see it start to rally off the mean. A lot of tech stocks are doing the same thing. Google pulled back to the mean and is starting to pop nicely. Another name here is Amazon. Amazon pulling back to the mean and popping nicely. Netflix pulling back to the mean and popping nicely. So the picture, in my opinion, guys, is very clear, and hopefully I've made it clear here, where if every index can just do its job, we have scenarios on both sides, where it also works the other way. If ES breaks the 50, it's head to daily cloud, and NQ is going to head to their 50, and YM is unfortunately just going to fall off a little cliff here and start to take out other levels, or they're all going to do their job to the upside, and we got a nice dip by ahead. But I hope that made sense, guys. It's taking these three indexes, taking the information that matters, and really just panning out the scenarios and following them. So I really, really love where the market sits right now and the few possibilities that we have here into, the next upcoming quarter, our final quarter. Going to be a good end of year. I'm excited, but one step at a time. So that being said, I just want to cover a few setups that I'll be watching. As always, I do like to keep an eye on ES and trade SPX. So I will be looking, guys, for a dip by, playing this higher the rest of the week as long as everything starts to hold. So if we just take a peek, I do like to play SPX on Fridays. However, same day expires. If we take a look at Friday's expire here, again, don't want to go too far, but if we do start to rally hard, guys, 25-20s, anything kind of in this range. All right, so again, 4,500 to 4,520, 4,530. These are all options, guys, that offer really good risk reward. Obviously, it depends when it happens and, what the market does. But as of right now, again, if we hold that 50 and we start to break through that little 44.80, we're going to have a decent little rally, right? Everyone who's shorted is going to start to cover, and we could see a really strong pop. So I want to watch those SPX calls, looking to target that 4,500 plus range. And then even, guys, if we do start to pop here, downside is still potential. Never want to be, too biased. So I really like the 4,400 range, trying to target anything around that vicinity. If we pop a little bit higher, move your strike down a little bit more. Maybe, 4,420-ish, get a little closer. But Just want to target those ranges, guys, and always keep an eye on SPX. One of my favorite names to trade, always offers really good risk reward. But other than that, let's dig into Google. So I hinted a little, guys, at the kind of, setup here on Google, and I really, really love the pattern I've been seeing here. All right, love these patterns. So if you take a look, every time, guys, at least for the past 2 times, we've reverted to the mean. It's a really just screaming dip buy on Google. It's one of the strongest tech stocks all year. I absolutely love this stock. Another indicator that I really like to use for dip buys, guys, is the 4-hour cloud, where if you take a look, I have circled those 2 times that it hit the daily mean. It also happened to hit the 4-hour cloud and then lead to a really good rally. Back to the mean, back to the 4-hour cloud, same scenario, and we're starting a strong rally here. They just continue to buy Google at very basic but important support levels. So again, NQ is doing the same exact thing. It's rallying off of the mean. So we should expect Google to be doing the same thing. You want to see that confluence. This is really important, guys, if we dig into my levels here. So last week, let me get the right chart here. Here we go. So last week, guys, Google dropped really, really hard on Friday due to some news that happened with Apple's App Store, right? A little negative, a little scary. Google completely dumped right back down to that daily mean. They bottomed out for a few days here and rallied really nice on Wednesday. Well, I really want to watch this level, guys, this 2882. This is where we pretty much started that news drop, right? We're just having a nice normal day. We're holding 2882, and then the news hits, and Google just implodes. So this is where everybody started to short Google, right? Call it 2882 to 2884. I'll just mark this little key level here as well. Hop back into real time. All right, guys, really nice levels here. I was watching this key zone, that 2860. Every time we got this week, we kind of failed. We kissed that bottom. We ripped through it today. We got back to point of control, right? Another level that's continued to sit up here, even though Google's down here. So if you guys follow my point of control training, it's always going to work its way back, just like it did today. But more importantly, getting back to, these levels we were talking about, it got through that 2882 and it got through that 2884. So it's knocking on the door of those sellers. You can see it kind of, fought really hard here. Once it reclaimed it, it held it nicely and got a close above it. So I want to pay close attention to this one, guys. I think it, could start to scream depending how many people started to short it. And regardless, it's just a really good dip buy on a strong stock. And the market's at really good dip buy levels as well. And there's rebalancing happening. So there could be a lot of big buying. We'll see. But for Google, it needs to hold this key zone, right? Maybe it can give you a retest at 2874, 2882. As long as it holds this key zone and then can test that 2894, I think we got a shot, guys, up towards 2900. Trying to target this wick here. What is that? All right, 2910, guys, 2900. Just trying to get to that vicinity. So I really, really love a potential dip buy here on Google, pushing towards that 2900, that 2910 level. And who knows, maybe it gets all-time high, but one step at a time here. Has about a 40-point ATR. Today ran about 40 points. So for Google, all-time high is only about an ATR away, about 37 points. Honestly, guys, could get there. I wouldn't be shocked, but one level at a time. So I'm actually just going to add that level in real quick, make it yellow for all-time high, hop back to a shorter time frame, and you guys can see we had a nice little zone here above. All right, we'll just kind of mark that in, and boom. So here's the path of resistance for Google. Again, if they can just hold here, start to rally, break that trigger, we got that 2910, and then we got all-time high. Really, really loving this chart. Very strong close. So definitely fight for entry. But if we take a look at Google, again, we're kind of leaning into the end of the week. So don't need to go too far. But for Google, guys, really like the 2900s. If we start to take a dip, right? If we take a dip towards 2870, those will go on sale. You might be able to get those around $3 or $4, which would be a really good price point. However, if not, I really like the 2910s and the 2920s. All offer really good risk reward, especially if it starts to push strong. So again, guys, ideally, you never want to chase momentum, but if you can get that pullback and it holds and market's doing what we need it to do, love and Google. Another setup, guys, Moderna, which I always love following news because news changes things. Wasn't really interested in Moderna until 10 minutes ago, where Moderna got some news here. Little data came out. Company believes data support benefit of Moderna booster dose, says company to host conference call today at 4:30. So yeah, guys, study shows lower risk of breakthrough infections, blah, blah, blah. Some good positive news here for Moderna. And a nice little beautiful pop after hours, stopping right at a nice key level. So if you take a look at this one, guys, another really clean chart where it's been basing nicely. It had a really good pop, and then it pulled back to the mean, and it's just sitting here and basing. If we just clean it up, you get a clean chart here. There we go. So first thing I see is, we do have a little downside wedge here, which is probably, breaking. Oh, no, it's not breaking through it. That's actually nice in play. So you guys can see this little wedge forming from those highs from last week. We're kind of, again, holding that daily mean. So it's a really, really nice inflection point. If it can pop through that wedge tomorrow, which it should, and get through that 443, easy chance, guys, of getting back towards that 470. Just very basic charting here. If it breaks here, it's most likely going there, especially on news. Has about a 25-point ATR. So that's about literally 25 points away. Perfect target here for Moderna. So again, guys, I want to keep this one pretty simple. Had some really good news. If the move continues to hold, we should be in some good shape here. I want to take a look to see if point of control is still above, because it was, and nope, it's down below, which can be a nice little launching pad here. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow, but again, definitely something that is now on my radar. I love the downside wedge. I love that it's been just, holding up here and slowly trending up at the daily mean. We got a nice little pop point possible. If you guys look at Moderna, it does a lot of wedges. It wedged here and broke to the downside, and then it wedged here and broke to the upside for a beautiful move. So anytime that this thing pulls back and starts to offer, a pretty decent wedge, I start to get really excited. So again, guys, there's that kind of, 1, 2, 3. We can just pop out tomorrow, break that 433. This thing could fly, right? They do have their conference call here, so maybe even more information. But right now, it's looking bullish. So definitely, these are going to be different priced come tomorrow. Come the gap up, but that's okay. We can just talk about, a general basis. So again, guys, targeting, 456, just kind of, where this drop started. And then again, these recent little highs here. So we're targeting 456 to 465. Just call it 455 to 465. Easy numbers. So I want to play anything in that vicinity. Again, these are going to spike. These are going to gap up pricey. So we'll see what they look like. Again, if you get anything, guys, in that range and a nice price point, you're going to get a really good risk reward if it starts to push. One thing I would note is if it does gap up, look for a little pullback, right? Look for a pullback towards today's high of day, right? So that 437-ish. That'd be a nice little, range to play off of. Again, just a few scenarios here. Say it gaps up, stuffs that level, pulls back it open, and then explodes. Maybe it just gaps and goes. Maybe it gaps down. Anything possible, but really, really like, guys, if it can get through this little range, push into that key range on some pretty good news here. So again, anything up to the 465s is going to be a really good lotto for the rest of the week. Love, love, love this chart now. And then one more setup, guys, is Netflix. Much like NQ, much like Google, keeping it simple. Very, very strong stock. Get rid of this. All right, huge breakout recently. And now it's giving you a textbook pullback. Love it, love it, love it. Not only is it giving you a pullback, guys, but this thing's in the process of, breaking a, year-long squeeze here. Weekly squeeze is firing. This is its first significant pullback. Oop. Right towards the mean, close enough for me. So if we hop in here, had some levels on Netflix today that unfolded really nicely, and I want to continue to use these levels for the rest of the week. So coming into today, guys, had some good support here. Found a really big seller on the tape, which it broke through early, went right back below, and then ripped through later in the day. And was watching some pretty, simple supply and demand zones. Watching this little area here 3 times, and then watching this little area here. We ran to it today, hit it, and then pretty much closed inside of it. So I really, really like where Netflix is standing right now. We got that base off the mean, we got that push to a big zone. And the best thing about it is point of control. Let me just double check. Yeah, it moved down today, but yesterday, guys, was up above here at 590. So there's still a lot of liquidity ahead. So for this one, pretty simple chart. If it stays in between this key zone, very bullish. And if it starts to break out, looking for a push towards 590. Not looking for it to do anything crazy, but at least get a nice little pop to 590. ATR of 12 points. So again, not asking to move 40 points. It's about a 7-point pop. Very, very healthy move back to a very big key level. I really, really like this chart. If we take a look at the hourly chart, we could also have a little intraday squeeze here heading into tomorrow, especially, if we open out flat in the middle, could be a really good trade. But regardless, we took enough time to base. It's a very strong stock. I would expect it, especially if tech pops and does what it needs to do, to get right back to point of control here at 590. Maybe even it pushes to 595-ish, the next key level. We'll see what happens. You guys can duplicate this zone, and again, kind of cover point of control and cover that little 595. Gives you a target to focus on. So if it holds here, can go here. If it breaks here, can go here. Nice little zones to work with. Last thing we'll peek at, as always, is the options. And again, want to focus on lining up with targets. So 590s are probably your best strike right now. 385s, 590s. I wouldn't go too far. 395s could be a good lotto, but you also want to get play something that gets rewarded. So I like the 585s, and I really like the 590s. But that's my thoughts here, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. I really value your time. Please make sure if you guys enjoy that you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys enjoy this. And yeah, we got more videos on the way. But enjoy, guys. Kick butt. Finish the week strong. I hope this information helped. And I'll talk to you next video. Trade well.
Hey, Focus Chan here with Simpler Trading. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything that we do. And if you want to see us trade our money live in real time, go to simplertrading.com and you can sign up for more. But happy trading, guys. Stay focused. I'll talk to you in the next video.